Hello everyone, and welcome to your final full moon collective tarot reading of 2020. This is our 13th full moon of the year, our full moon in Cancer, and I am embracing this big grandma energy. I am wearing this cozy sweater that my great grandmother knit or crocheted or something for my grandmother that I just received as a gift from my mom. And I am wearing these moon earrings that my mother-in-law gave to me, which I'm very happy about. So I'm feeling very adorned in this big mama feminine moon energy, which is perfect because Cancer is ruled by the moon. So our full moon in Cancer is exactly where she's very comfortable and vast and herself. And so before we get into today's tarot reading, I wanted to share some announcements and thoughts and ideas and transformations with you all. So I've been feeling like changing up the format of this. I've been doing this for a little over a year. I started in the fall of 2019 doing these video tarot readings, and I love them. It's good medicine for me to give them. People receive good medicine from them, and I think they're a wonderful gift for the collective. But in general, moving into 2021 and just moving into where I am, I've been feeling like I want to just expand and evolve and open the scope of what I offer. So part of that expansion, I think, is that I think I'm going to be launching a podcast. And I say I think because this is a very new idea that has kind of come up in the past couple of days, but it feels like a very much of like a yes, big yes. And I did a little informal poll on the Instagram stories, and more people, like 70% of the people who responded voted that I should launch a podcast instead of doing these video readings. But beyond that, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time, like several years, but in the past I felt like I didn't have anything to say or didn't have enough to say, or why would people listen to me? But now that we have entered into the age of Aquarius, and now that my Saturn return is over and all these wild things have happened around the Great Conjunction on the winter solstice, I'm feeling like possibilities are limitless, and I'm feeling like I actually have a lot to say, and that I'm kind of done with with any self-imposed limitations that come from a fear-based place. So I'm thinking it's gonna happen. I'm thinking this will be your last video reading. And I love doing the videos though, so I think I'd still like to do videos in some way, maybe for YouTube, maybe on like special topics, or maybe just for my classes, I'm not sure. But I'm going to keep doing them in some way. But I think the podcast is going to help me to have some just space, but also structure, to be able to push my own limits. So I'd love to know what you think about that since you are watching this. So if you want to comment below. The name that I'm thinking of the podcast, and I'm curious what you think about this, is Magic and Medicine. And I feel like that encompasses a lot of what I think about, what I talk about. And it also, I feel like it's an invitation into a lot of conversations and a lot of places. So if you're into it, I'd love for you to comment. If you're not into it, I'd love for you to comment. I'm curious what you think. So that's big announcement number one. So woohoo! And we'll see about that one. Announcement number two. So announcement number two is, so today I'm going to incorporate just a few extra things in addition to the reading to kind of test out the format of what this would be if it were a podcast, because it wouldn't just be a reading, it would be a kind of expanded, time exploring some concepts and some different themes that are, going on either for me collectively or whatever the medicine of the moment is. And so I'll be sharing a few extra things today. And then the final thing is I am doing an event online on Saturday. It's called Reiki Refresh. and it is at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And the intention, it's basically a group energy clearing and intention setting ceremony. And I did one of these in person in Brooklyn last year when I was home visiting, and it was really wonderful. And so I'm doing it again on the internets for you. So I would love for you to be there if you can. It's from 11 to 1, and it should be just like very chill. There's going to be a ambient sound journey, group energy clearing, guided meditation, time for intention setting. So I think it should be a very, very powerful way to transition from 2020 and all that energy and baggage and everything that we're carrying with us into 2021, where, you know, just things are possible. It's a turning of a page. It's a portal into a new year. So if you would like to join me, if you'd like to be refreshed with the Reiki, then I would love to see you. You can click on the link in my bio or my website, sararayne.com, for info about that. And I think those are all my announcements. So I mentioned the Great Conjunction. It happened on the winter solstice, December 21st, which was the day after my birthday. And it's a really big deal in astrology. And I'm not an astrologer, I'm just a follower and lover of astrology. And so Jupiter and Saturn were conjunct, like in the same place in Aquarius on the winter solstice. And it's a really big deal. A lot of people are seeing it as like the official beginning of the age of Aquarius, which I talk about that a lot. And it's just kind of like a dawning of a new era, because both of these planets have been in earth signs for the past 200 years, and now they're starting a new cycle in air signs. So they'll cycle through all of the air signs, beginning with Aquarius. So yeah, it's huge. It feels like an expansion. It feels like a lot is possible. And on that actual night of the solstice, I was camping in the Oregon high desert, and I had an extremely mystical experience. And I had this time of communing with the moon. Actually, it was kind of like a waxing, like quarter moon, I think. And I just had a very mystical kind of mind-blowing experience of what was possible and what, what limits there were or weren't. And I wrote something about that experience that I'm going to share today. But I just want to, in general, the big picture medicine of this conjunction that we're coming out of is this dawning of a new era, is this dawning of like, what can I do individually with like all of my potential, all of my vision, all of my beautiful like brain and mind and like possibilities. What can I do with that, with my special gifts and my uniqueness and my weirdness and all of that? What can I do with that will create something or contribute to something in service to the collective good? So that's what we've been, ushered into, coming out of this, Capricorn and Saturn and Capricorn, which is, my Saturn return, coming out of that we've been in for the last 3 years. It's like in Capricorn, things are very fixed, and they are as they are, and as like tradition dictates, and as what is established dictates. But in Aquarius, it's literally like new vision and limitless potential. So I just want to empower you and let you know that like this is the time for anything. Everything is possible. The rule book has kind of been thrown out. So I just want to like let you know that. Besides that, astrologically, we have our full moon in Cancer. Cancer is very much associated with the archetype of the mother, the grandmother, the oceans, the moon, this kind of vast feminine energy, compassion, empathy, and in general, really big feelings, which can be, which can be challenging, or they can be beautiful, or they can be challenging and beautiful. So just lots of feels in general. And we're in Capricorn season, and we are, we're in Capricorn season, and we're about to move over the threshold into the new year, into 2021. And so Capricorn is, as I said, it's very fixed. It's an earth sign. I can't remember if it's an actual fixed sign. I think it is. But in general, the energy is like, these are the structures, this is what's stable, this is what's safe, this is what kind of like takes care of things and what's practical. They do also, you know, everyone has a lot of unique aspects to their, you know, personalities, but that's a kind of stereotypical Capricorn, like hardworking energy. And Saturn is, you know, granddaddy, big daddy Saturn is at home in Capricorn as well. So yeah, Sun's in Capricorn, Moon is in Cancer, and there's a lovely dance going on. And yeah, we're in this kind of portal time. I feel like the time right now between the winter solstice and the actual New Year's is an energetic portal of moving into this newness. I don't think that change or opportunities or openings happen in just one day or one, you know, precise aspect of astrology. To me, it feels like an energetic portal where we get to like inhabit this change and feel the release of what we are releasing and feel what we are building and actually, you know, build it in alignment with the energy. So we're in this portal. So it's a wonderful time. Kind of magical practice tip, which, you know, will formally be more formal in my future podcast. But I think that this time is a perfect time to to clean your house, but not only to clean your house, but to clean like whatever it is that's like in your space and really kind of bothering you and might be like a big deal. It might be like a deep, you know, thing that might take a while to clean and organize and dig through and sift through, and will take that kind of like Capricorn focus and structure. But doing so, you know, with the intention of making your home a place that vibrates in the way that you want, that feels loving, that feels like, you know, a true home for you. Because everything, you know, everything in your house has a vibration, every single object, and, you know, how you feel about that object affects how it affects you. So if you're familiar with Marie Kondo, the magical art of tidying up, she, you know, recommends, and I did this practice, like picking up an object and saying, does this spark joy? And the practice is to listen to your body's immediate reaction. It should be a yes or it should be a no, and it should be quick. And sometimes there are, you know, things that can confuse us, like our brain saying, no, but that's sentimental, no, but that this came from this place and that place. And sometimes we might need to hold on to things a little longer, like for that reason, if it's too emotional to let go. But right now is really a time where, yeah, where you're served in releasing, where it's safe to release. Dawning of a new era, you don't, you know, the things that might have defined you or might have been important to you before don't necessarily need to stay the same. Change is happening. So for instance, if you have like, you know, a Christmas present from last year that's still, you know, in a random bag in your closet that your mom or your aunt gave you, and you don't really like it, but you don't want to get rid of it because you feel bad, maybe see about, you know, rehoming it, see about donating it, giving it away to a neighbor. If there's like a skirt in your closet that is broken and has needed to be fixed for like 2 years, maybe it's time, you know, to release it, to admit that like, okay, like I'm not going to get this fixed, I'm not going to fix it, and that's okay. And there's no, you know, no guilt needed if I just choose to release my, you know, attachment to this object that is broken, that is incomplete, that's not serving me in my life. So, oh, and another example is like you know, like a photograph or a keepsake from maybe like an ex-partner, lover, you know, whatever. Yeah, just see about like what those vibrations are doing for you. Again, it could be that you have this old object, this old photo, and it actually brings you joy and, you know, reminds you of something like pleasant and nostalgic about a particular time in your life. Or it could be that like every time you see or touch this object, it makes you feel really sad and makes you kind of relive things. So it's just about taking stock. So, and especially if there's a big thing that's bothering you, I'm going to give you a personal example, which is that there has been a mold problem along the baseboards in this room. And I kind of knew it was happening. I kind of didn't know how bad it was. It was behind some furniture and some things I had piled up against the wall. And I couldn't really, like, it felt way too overwhelming to deal with it. It was like, oh, this is a mess and huge, and I have all these other things on my plate, and, you know, I don't have the time and space to do it. Last night, I'm my partner, but I bought a shelf, put up, you know, got a place, a structure to put all those things that were piled, you know, on the floor by the wall that were creating this dark and damp atmosphere. And I got a shelf, got it up on the wall, got ready, created a solid structure, and then, like, with my tender, you know, mama self, I, like, went through all the things, and, you know, some of the things had gotten moldy and some of the things had to be, you know, thrown away, and some of it was, you know, kind of emotional or sad because there were things that couldn't be replaced, but they were also, it was their time, you know. The mold took them. It just was what it was, and they got let go. And so, yeah, so I cleared all the stuff. I, you know, did the task of scrubbing, cleaning the mold, pulling all the furniture away from the wall, making sure I got, like, every last bit of it. There wasn't anything hiding. And there is just a humongous shift in the energy of this room. Like, that task, which had been, like, daunting my, you know, subconscious for who knows how long, several months, it's done. I did it. It's sucked a little bit, but it's now, it's better, and nothing, and I've set up myself so that that same problem won't come back. So I don't know if there's anything like that in your house that, like, really needs to be addressed, that's really bothering you, but I thoroughly suggest and encourage you to take care of it. So I'm going to read you this Little Moon poem, written word thing, and then I'm going to read you your tarot. And this episode obviously is longer because I'm giving you a little more information and kind of practicing this format that I think the podcast will end up being, you know, like 40-45 minutes maybe. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope you are enjoying this. Okay. This is called This Is What the Moon Told Me. I could see the silvery moonlight through the darkened trees, away from warmth and the familiar. She opened to me. It wasn't quite a beckon, but an invitation to step into the mystery. I followed the call. I sank to my knees. I saw and listened to all she had to say. This is what the moon told me. You are limitless, she said. As vast as all the heavens and universes combined, for they are not separate from you. You can be a hawk or a leaf on the wind, or you can be the whole sky. All of this is available to you. The only limitations are the ones you choose to inhabit. What containers have you placed yourself in, and how have they stunted your growth? Knowing now that there are no limits, can you expand your reach? Seek deeper, open your awareness into the vastness of all that is. It is time to begin. This is what the moon told me. It has always been this way, she said, since time immemorial. You were born into this childbearing body with a woman's soul, and you are linked to the experiences of all the women who have ever walked the earth. Our blessing is also our curse. Because of our capacity to hold the vastness of life within ourselves, sometimes we hold the pain and needs of others too. Sometimes we do this intentionally with loving care, and sometimes it is not sweet or pleasurable. You do have the capacity to hold and transmute energy for others, but there are limits here. Body and spirit must be nourished and nurtured to do this work without harm to yourself. Remember to mother yourself too. This is what the moon told me. There is no such thing as static, she said. Evolution is in your nature. Inside, your body sheds, releases, renews, grows, and sheds again. Outside, the world grows and dies in its time. Your planet is always turning, and so am I. Embrace change because it cannot be avoided. This is what the moon told me. You can see, she said, far more clearly than you believe you can. You have eyes that can see in the dark and an intuition that can perceive truth and energy. Why are you pretending that you cannot see? Why not open to the full expanse of your vision? It is safe to trust your instincts. This is what the moon told me. Your pleasure belongs to you, she said. It is yours for the taking. Explore it, enjoy it, for it is your gift to yourself. The power of the wild feminine that flows through me flows deeply through you too. This pleasure and power is available to you always if you reach deep enough and open to receiving. This is what the moon told me. So that's just a little gift to you. I hope that there's some medicine in that kind of channeled writing. I tried to reflect as truly as I could upon the experience I had, and I think that the medicine that's meant for me is meant, for all female identifying people or whoever identifies with the being of me. I think that this is available for you should you choose to take it. So we are going to get into our reading. Okay. So we ask today, what is ready to be released / cleared out? So what we got for this is 5 of Wands in reverse. This is from our Mother Peace deck. So what is ready to be released and cleared out? So basically this energy of hecticness and this energy of entanglement. And this kind of has to do with like where your energy is and who your energy is like interacting with or linked to, or maybe even like, promised to. This has to do with taking stock not only of like yourself and your physical body, but like, every single thing that your energy is attached to. So this could be like a commitment you have, to like a book club, but really it's draining, you dread it, you skim through the book, and then you show up to the meeting because you feel like you have to. This could be like, 5 different projects that you started and you feel that, you have to keep trying on them, even though you kind of lost the passion or the vision that you originally started them with. This could be, just, any kinds of like engagements or obligations that involve others or the outside world. This could be like, a literal like mess or chaos in your house. Like I was talking about cleaning your house, or like noise or confusion or whatever it is that's, energetically going on that's kind of blocking your flow and creativity. And maybe it was, maybe it was fun at one point, maybe it was entertaining, maybe it was like, kind of like, haha, this is a fun like test or commitment or experience for me to learn from. But whatever that is, that's kind of this chaos energy that is, especially the chaos energy that is, it's draining you, it's not serving you, it's blocking you from getting clear because you're not actually clear on where your energy is or what you're doing with it. So this is coming up for us today as what is ready to be released or made space of. So this is an explicit permission from the universe to release, all those things that feel like clutter to you. And it is okay if you had previously committed to them. And it is okay if you now need to uncommit. And it is okay to change your mind even to yourself, you know, you do not owe anyone anything. So just feel free to take the reins and rein your energy back into yourself, so that you can, you know, have a good grasp on it and be able to, you know, control it. So that's that. Our next card is what will support us in nourishing, like nourishing ourselves. So we actually got 5 of Swords. It's tilted forward a bit. So this is a bit different than the traditional Rider-Waite. In the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, you may have seen, it's this image of a, you know, a man or a person who has just kind of won a sword fight, and he has this sly look on his face, and he, you know, is holding 3 swords, I think, and then like there's 2 swords on the ground that the, you know, 2 other people are walking away from this scene. So he's bested them, and he's bested them, and he has their swords, and you kind of see this sly look. This here in our mother piece, we have 5 swords that are creating this, you know, pentagram or star shape around this bee in the center. It's very, you know, clean and simple. And so this came up for us today around what will support us in nourishing. And so this is actually super related to the first card in context for us. So this has to do with, yeah, creating clear boundaries and understanding what actually, not like where your energy is on the outside, but actually what you are holding, you know, within your own boundaries. So it's a matter of knowing, kind of investigating, are you holding anyone else's energy? Are you holding any, you know, anyone else's expectations? Are you holding any like guilt or shame that has to do with anyone else's expectations? Are you holding, you know, pain or trauma or the remnants of any relationship or person energetically that you know, no longer want to be holding? Are there these kind of like pieces in you that, so if you're holding these other pieces that are, you know, other people's energy or other people's like anything in you, and if you're, you know, trying to nourish yourself and feed yourself, you're actually feeding those parts too. So you're bear with me here, you're wasting your either energetic or, you know, literal nourishment by feeding these parts that you actually like don't really want to be holding anymore. So there's an invitation to seek them out and like remove them, and removing them can be, you know, whatever works for you, like with a visualization, like dissolving them, imagining like a sword cutting them out, imagining they turn to water and kind of flow out of you in a bath or a shower, or like holding your hands to the ground and asking the earth to please like receive and transmute, or, you know, tossing them up to the heavens. So this is about that, and this is about when you are able to kind of grasp what all is your energy, when you know where your energy ends and other people's energy begins, then creating those boundaries, even if they're sharp, and even if people can get hurt by your boundaries from them, you know, walking into your fence of swords. So, you know, you have a fence of swords. It sends a clear message. These are my boundaries. I'm serious about it. If someone else walks into it because they're trying to, you know, violate your boundaries, that's not your fault. You don't need to feel guilty if it's hard for others to accept your boundaries, because they are actually there because they're needed to protect you. And if, you know, yeah, if they weren't there, like none of this is gonna work. So this is about like investigating, establishing, acknowledging your boundaries in a way that's absolutely necessary, and releasing any guilt that has to do with others not accepting your boundaries. And that will serve you on this path to nourishing your full self. Okay, and our final card is what will support us in creating solid foundations, Capricorn and New Year style. So we actually got the Emperor, which is related to Saturn, related to Capricorn. Number 4, the Emperor is tilted forward. So this, again, kind of all these cards are saying the same thing about this moment right now. And it's possibly because, you know, Cancer and the moon energy is like so wide open. They're saying you also actually still need boundaries. So Emperor kind of nudged forward. So Emperor is literally about creating boundaries, not only boundaries, but about creating solid foundations for yourself. It's the 4, which is like a very, stable numerology. So this is saying, since it's tilted forward, it's saying, not only establish your boundaries, not only enforce your boundaries, but actually like double up on them. Like use this time to make sure that the structures that you have in place that are there to keep you safe are actually strong enough, are actually well built. If you need to, put another piece of wood here, put another piece of insulation there, whatever it is, this is the time to kind of shore up those boundaries and also like shore up what you are available for, again, with yourself. Moving into this new year, we're all going to have a lot of inspirations and ideas and things we want to do and commit to and plan for and achieve, and all of that is so wonderful. And make sure that whatever it is that you are planning for, that you are supported and resourced in being able to achieve it. Because if you're if you kind of set off to accomplish this list of 10 really big things this year, but if you only have enough energy to accomplish 2 of them, you're only going to do maybe 2 of them, and then then there's an invitation there from your brain to feel guilty or worthless or whatever it is for not doing all the things. So this is also about like setting up your expectations in a healthy way so that you can whatever project, whatever thing to accomplish, make sure that like if you're the CEO or the king of your own kingdom, which is like your life, right? Make sure that each project or each department has enough resources allocated at the beginning of your fiscal year so that you can set them up for success, as they say in the corporate lingo. So that is our reading for this time, from our full moon in Cancer until our next full moon. And thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for bearing with the longer episode. I'm definitely curious to know what you think about the podcast and what you think about this in general. I hope this medicine serves. And please let me know in the comments below. I love you. I think you're wonderful. And Happy New Year. Bye.